So who needs mud flaps? Well, these guys did. Okay, mud flaps are not just for mud. They are for snow, salt, rock, sand, and who knows what else. I've got a Tesla Model 3 and I have seen some damage done on cars without mud flaps. I don't know if this was just an early Model 3 issue or if these cars were constantly driving through some pretty harsh conditions, but I'm not taking my chances. I live in the Chicago area. Winters can be bad and they definitely use salt, so I am putting on mud flaps. I'm going to first show you how to install them so the mud flaps themselves don't damage the paint, like here from Dirty Tesla's car, and then show the full install front and back. I'll put a link in the description to the mud flaps that I bought as well as the double-sided tape that I used. Hey, so I've had these mud flaps on my car for many months now through this last winter. It is, what month are we in? June now? So they've been on for a while and I wanted to check them out. I only put them on one side of the car for a couple of reasons. One, I put them on when it was really cold out, and I wanted to see how I liked them on the car, see if they look good, as well as try to compare this side with the other side with no mud flaps to see if there's any difference. I decided to take a look at them now, what I did do and what I didn't do. So when I installed these, it comes with body panel rivets, I'll call them, and then you have to screw in here, and I didn't want to screw into the metal, so I just screwed into the wheel well plastic. And let me make sure you can see that, and it held pretty well. When you tack this in here, when you screw this in, it really doesn't move around too much, a little bit, but I wanted to see what was going on underneath. And while there is some dirt here, that you expect, I do see a line here. I haven't tried to wipe it yet. Let me wipe it while it's on camera, just using some quick detailer stuff and a towel. I want to see if it was really doing any damage to the car or to the paint. And while I wouldn't call this damage, there is a line here that probably will need to be buffed or use some kind of a, I'm trying to get this in here, sorry. I think this line is showing up pretty clearly. So it's something that I'm going to need to use some kind of a polisher on to get off. But at the same time, this is, a line there. So it's not showing when these are on, and I'm not planning on really taking these off because I've seen videos of cars in up north, maybe I don't know, I think they're in Canada, where they are offering to put these flaps on the car for free, and they have a lot of damage here without these mud guards on, just from road debris and a lot of rock salt. You will notice under here there is a lot of dirt that gets caught in the shield. There's also a lot of dirt here that you can see that gets caught, and I'm not concerned. This is all plastic. This is the metal part. So road debris, dirt will get in there, but you're not getting that direct impact from the high speed impact from coming off of the tire at speed and basically sandblasting the bottom part of your car here over the years. So also a lot of ohms here, sorry guys. What I didn't put on was this double-sided tape. It doesn't come with the kit. I bought it later, and I didn't put it on just because with the screw on the top, like I said, it seemed to be holding pretty well, and it wasn't like rattling around or moving around much, although you know, it must be doing a little bit of in and out at speed. So I am going to now put that double-sided tape on, and if you see how thick it is, it does have some thickness to it, so it will cover this gap here. It will fill in that gap and also keep it from bouncing into the car and doing any, you know, permanent type of damage here to the paint. You could also PPF this part, I guess, you know, like the bottom part of this car. This is basically some type of a PPF here. So anyway, that's the plan for this afternoon, and then I'm going to put on the flaps on the other side, and I'll show you that too. Okay. New finish. Yeah, it cleaned up just fine. Okay, so step this back a little bit. The tape actually lines up with the body panel down here. I figured it was good enough just to go to this line and leave that alone. You've got that built-in factory, some type of factory PPF there. All right, let's put this back on. I'm going to clean this up with some alcohol so the tape sticks better. Okay, and for install, now again, remember, I've got a little tape in here, but otherwise for the install, these two are existing openings with these little pins that expand when they're pushed in, and the really only other challenge is to put the screw in. It's a self-tapping screw. I ended up drilling a little hole first. You know, first what I did was pop these guys in, both of these, to place it, because, you know, those aren't going to move. And then I pushed this over this way as far as I could, drilled a little starter hole, and then just screwed this in. You know, while this is self-tapping and you could do it by just screwing it in, you know, using a drill, it would be more difficult by hand. It's easy. It's much easier if you give it a little bit of a start with a pre-drill a hole in there. Let me take the backing off of this tape. Okay, finally got the backing off of that tape. That was actually a lot more challenging than I thought it would be, or should be. All right, now I feel like it's going to be a little bit of a trick to line this up properly before that tape sticks. So, okay, start by popping that one in, then making sure that this is lined up, and stick that sucker in there, and screw this one back in. Okay, don't want to over tighten that, it's just plastic. And then try to finagle this guy back in here, which is take a look at this end here. You can see it's got a nice, you know, that tape kind of filled this gap in and stuck the flap to it. It's does have some gap here. I'm not that concerned with though, because I don't feel like it's going to be touching it, and this is the PPF anyway. And there's actually a fairly large gap here, so I don't think it's going to be touching the body panel. Not sure if I can get the camera in there good, but so yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this one. So time to do the other side. Okay, so this back mud flap, I wanted to point something out. Hoping this shows up. There is a body panel holder down here that holds it in, but there is nothing up here but basically just like a tension kind of a clip, and you can see it doesn't, you know, it pops in there and it's decent, it holds it. What I am probably going to do though is take this off and put some double-sided tape in here just to make sure that this stays on longer. Again, this side has been on for months and it doesn't show any signs of coming off ever. Again, I've got this line in the paint, so I like how it conforms to the like how it conforms to the body here though, so I really don't want to put any double-sided tape in there, although it would provide some protection to the paint, because as you can see the same thing is happening back here as was going on in the front. So I'm not sure exactly how to handle that. I don't know, if I had any spare PPF I might throw that in there. It wouldn't be a bad idea. But again, if I'm going to be keeping some of these mud flaps on here anyway, does it really matter? So it's always going to be covering this up. So I'm going to think about this a little longer, but most likely I'm just going to be putting some double-sided tape in here to make sure that this holds steady. Okay, so for the rear, just got to pop this guy out. Again, these are a little tricky, a little twist of the screwdriver there. All right, that pops right out. We're going to be using that location, but again, got to use the supplied longer ones here. And what I said before too, you know, this lines up real nice here, this hole with the existing body panels, but this will clip on. Now let me get this in place here. This will clip on and it holds decent, but I think I'm going to put some double-sided tape in here just to make sure that it holds extra well. Okay, so we've got a little alcohol on the towel here. I'm going to prep this. Okay, also have a bolt under here, 10mm, that this will bolt onto, which really holds this in place. So it's not just this body panel rivet here. I've also got the tape. After mocking this up, decided that's a good place to put the tape to hold it. So I'm going to take this bolt off here and then put it on. Okay, so usually it's easier to pop this basin first. So then this top part clips in here, and got the double-sided tape to hold it, and that should be good. Guy's not going anywhere either. All right, fantastic.